private companies drive new space race at NASA. NASA says it soon may be able to launch astronauts from U.S. soil to the International Space Station. Important project milestones are coming up for NASA's two commercial crew partners, Boeing and SpaceX, with several flight tests, including manned missions slated for 2018. Boeing is working on the CST-100 Starliner. The spacecraft can seat up to 7 and is meant to send astronauts to the space station. 3 Starliners are currently in production, with one set to carry astronauts next year. The pressurized vessel can be reused 10 times. SpaceX, which has flown cargo missions to the ISS with its Dragon spacecraft, plans to use the Dragon 2 to send astronauts to space. The Dragon 2 is the latest version of SpaceX's capsule model. It's designed to seat 7 astronauts. Boeing and SpaceX must show that both of their systems are ready to start regular flights to the space station in order to meet NASA's requirements. SpaceX has its first test flight set for February, while Boeing's launch is planned for June. To boldly go. NASA might start sending people back into space sooner than expected. NASA seems to be taking a cue from Trump, taking a bolder, riskier approach after the president made it apparent he wanted the U.S. to retain its dominance in space. Since the end of the space shuttle program, NASA has relied on Russia to send its astronauts into space. The agency's acting administrator announced Wednesday that it's thinking of sending astronauts on a space mission earlier than planned, possibly within Trump's first term in office. NASA's Space Launch System rocket was originally slated to go on its first exploration mission in 2018 with an unmanned space capsule. This timeline calls for the SLS to be launched from the Kennedy Space Center on September 30th, carrying the Orion space capsule into space in a mission known as EM-1. The capsule would orbit the moon for about 3 weeks before returning to Earth, splashing down into the ocean with the help of parachutes. A second crewed mission was scheduled for 2021, but with new plans considering the addition of a crew to EM-1, it seems astronauts could be going on the Orion as early as 2019. For that, NASA needs an SLS rocket with a more powerful second stage, known as the Exploration Upper Stage, or EUS. But though the design for EUS has been approved, it has yet to be built. Another hurdle the agency needs to overcome is human rating the Orion space capsule, which at the moment is still missing key life support systems. NASA may be enthusiastic about its latest move, but it's unclear how NASA will meet program schedules, especially given its limited budget. Sayonara, space junk! NASA has awarded $50,000 for the development of an innovative new spacecraft that promises to get rid of orbital trash. Space debris in the form of spent rocket parts, old satellites, shrapnel, and other items are accumulating around Earth's orbit, which may make collisions more common. To address this issue, NASA is looking into the Braincraft, a light 3-foot by 3-foot spacecraft that's thinner than human hair. When deployed, the Braincraft moves toward a piece of debris and wraps itself around the item. It then fires its thrusters and pushes back toward Earth. The spacecraft eventually lowers itself and the debris down to the atmosphere, where both are incinerated. The Braincraft is intended to be light and cheap enough that it can be sacrificed at the end of a cleaning mission, but it may also have other applications beyond just collecting trash. The spacecraft is extremely fuel efficient, making it fully capable of traveling long distances, perhaps to explore and mine asteroids or other space rocks.
Scientists hope to launch interstellar fleet of laser-propelled spacecraft. A hit team of renowned scientists, Silicon Valley elites, and a billionaire businessman have come together to launch a fleet of postage stamp-sized interstellar spacecraft. Sounds like the pitch for a bad Bond movie, right? Well, if it was, 007 would have his hands full. Because this team includes scientist supreme Dr. Stephen Hawking, Russian billionaire Yuri Milner, and Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg. All technology, including the camera for the tiny interstellar spacecraft, will be placed inside a postage stamp-sized chip. Called a star chip, this device would come with a light sail to form a nanocraft. This sail has a surface that would use Earth-based laser light to propel it along. The lasers would come from a mile-wide laser array potentially situated 13,000 feet above sea level in the Atacama Desert in South America. Using light energy from the 100 gigawatt laser array, the team plans to send a fleet of these nanocrafts to our closest star system, Alpha Centauri. If successful, a nanocraft could travel at 20% of the speed of light, or 134.2 million miles per hour, using laser light propulsion. At that speed, a nanocraft could traverse the 25 trillion miles to Alpha Centauri in a matter of decades, while a current spacecraft would take thousands of years. Dubbed Breakthrough Starshot, Milner has invested around $100 million in the nanocraft concept. However, it will still potentially cost billions and could take up to 30 years to get a swarm of the devices into space if the concept is shown to be successful.
No more photography duty for astronauts. The Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency has developed a cute floating camera drone that can lighten the workload of astronauts on the International Space Station. The INT ball weighs 1 kilo and has a diameter of 15 centimeters. It uses the existing drone technology, miniaturized altitude control sensors and actuators in an all-in-one module. The INT ball arrived at the International Space Station last month and is remotely controlled by the JAXA Tsukuba Space Center from the ground. In the future, the INT ball is expected to take over photography duties from the space crew and will be able to operate autonomously. At the moment, astronauts on the ISS spend around 10% of their time just taking photos and videos. With this camera drone's help, they now perhaps will have a bit more personal time in space.